No offense, Miss Danvers.
It's starting. I don't know what happened there. I was looking at new computers.
Oh, so your current computer has gotten a complex.
That's right.
You're going to trade me in for a newer model.
All right, we're live again. All right, well, that was interesting.
So, technical difficulties continue.
Yeah,
as is the
norm
for us. Anyway, as I was saying, we're looking at making a video about characters we'd like to see movies about and who we might cast in the roles, the various roles related to the movies. Conversation like this was spurred on by previous conversations, and then, of course, Jonathan made a video recently about Marvel female characters who deserved a movie ahead of Captain Marvel. He sort of lays out the argument there about why he feels that way, and I don't know that he's wrong based on the argument that he made. So, we'll address some of those characters and things as we go along, but that's pretty much what we're doing.
I hate to cut you off. It is not really streaming well. I'm going to disconnect this and then start it again.
Okay.
Sorry.
Technical difficulty.
Let's see if it works better this time. And it looks like it's just picking up where we left off. And we're back. Hopefully it will be working better now.
Yes, hopefully so.
Oh, hey, I can see movement this time, so video quality is already better.
Awesome.
Perfect.
And only after 3 tries.
Third time's a charm, right?
I've heard that. I don't know if it's true, but I've heard that.
Oh, me. Anyways. Yeah, me and Lewis like to talk about who we think should be in different roles. We're like, oh, this guy would be perfect for this role. And so I was like, hey, why don't we make a video us casting different people? So, yeah, there's a lot of great actors and actresses out there who would be great in different roles. So, yeah, that's all I got. But first, we're trying to get an order to this thing that we're doing. So, we're gonna do things a little differently than we used to. Lewis, I'll pass that off to you because you understand it better than I do.
Yeah. So the segment that we're starting our show with after sort of the introduction is what I like to call News and Notables.
The John and Lewis show.
I call it news not because it's necessarily news, but there will be that aspect in it. But principally, this is where we tell you about comics we've read about in the last week or so that you guys might find interesting. And then, of course, if we've read something older, we would call that a notable. So, just news and notables. So,
makes sense.
Yeah. So, I got this recently. It's actually Fantastic Four number 6, but this is the.
I'm still so far behind on Fantastic Four.
Celebrating the 80th anniversary of Marvel Comics. This was the cover.
Hey, someone's on. Welcome.
This is the cover Brandon at Play for Life Comics had set aside for me, and all
right, here we go.
It was really good.
A Detective Chimp movie starring Peter Dinklage.
Oh, that's the guy who played the guy who made Stormbreaker in Avengers.
Huh. Stormbreaker.
He made Thor's new hammer, basically.
Oh. I got you. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know that I would cast him though.
Yeah, I figured
he has such a distinguished voice. But maybe, I don't know. I don't know what I think Detective Chimp's voice would sound like in my head.
Yeah.
But since it would be CGI, you really wouldn't necessarily have to cast a small person. But
yeah. All right, so we're on news.
Yes,
right
news.
now.
So I just, I finally got that. I finally got around to reading it. So I guess in one sense it's not quite new, but it's good. Like, I was really surprised. It actually helped me put in perspective number 7, which I had read first because I didn't realize I'd missed an issue. And so for a Galactus story, for the first Doctor Doom story of this new run, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
My only beef with it is the issue with Galactus and Magic, and I feel like we talked about that. I don't know if we talked about it on here, but it basically,
we talked a little bit, but I hadn't read it, so you were trying not to spoil it for me.
Yeah, it undermines some classic comics, and I hate that. Like, if you're gonna change a character fundamentally, you kind of have to explain the change and not just be like, you know what, I'm just gonna power out of this now. So I mean, that's probably my one beef with this issue. But otherwise, I thought it was good. So if you're into the Fantastic Four, it comes across great. So check it out.
Mass Panther says Immortal Hulk is pretty good.
Dude,
I've read a couple issues.
I just have to say, like, I keep following like what's going on with that online, and the covers are just, I really am digging the covers. Like, there's one coming up where he's sort of laid out on a table or couch or something, talking to Doc Samson, and I just really dig the artwork on those covers. So I totally get it if you're into that.
Guys, if you're just joining, me and Lewis are going to try something new where we talk about, in our live streams first, about kind of a segment about comics we're reading, and then whether that be old or new, and then kind of transition into the main topic for other things. So that's where we are right now. We're talking about comic books that we read, and in a few minutes we'll get to the topic for tonight. So a few books that I've been reading: Invaders with Zdarsky.
Oh,
so good. So good.
You're going to make me try to pick that up, aren't you?
It's good. Man, Zdarsky is great, man. I love him. He's my favorite Marvel writer, right? Current Marvel writer. So good. And it's great. It's really good. You've got Namor, who looks like he's about to start a war against the Earth. And so Captain America and Bucky are trying to stop him, and they're trying to reach him on a personal level because, of their past. And really excellent, really good. Kind of reminded me of another one, which is DC, because everything else is DC. Freedom Fighters.
I was going to ask you about that.
With Venditti, man, this is great. This is a lot of fun. I don't know the history of some of the characters, but that's good, It makes it easier for me to read. I don't have as much
baggage
problems with things. Excuse me, but I love Venditti. He's also doing Hawkman, which is excellent. He did my favorite run on Hal Jordan, Green Lanterns. Excellent writer. So next I got the Teen Titans. I read a bunch this week. This is the annual. And I thought that they were going to make Damian a little too overpowered, but Jason Todd got back on. It was pretty great. Yes, Mass Panther says Zdarsky's writing Daredevil now. I picked up issue 2, I think, because I saw that, and I haven't read it yet, but it's on the top of my list to read.
Oh, that could be fun.
I'm pretty excited about that. Also read Supergirl. I enjoy this series. It's been really good since they changed the writers and stuff. Not that it was necessarily bad before, but it's way better now. This issue wasn't my favorite, but you know, I've enjoyed most of the other. I feel like they're doing a better job talking about the Rogal Zar stuff than they were in Superman.
Is she still in space?
She's wandering around space. So that's pretty neat. I think that's a lot better for the character than what they were doing with it. My favorite series right now, Terrifics. Beautiful. I love it. So good. And then probably one of my other favorites is Young Justice. There's some things that really bother me because they ignore some of the continuity, but you know, I don't know if you want me to spoil this for you, Lewis, or maybe you read it.
I did.
But Superboy has a wife now.
Right.
And a son, I think.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work out.
So I thought that was really interesting. He's been on another world or something, another plane of existence. Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see
what. He's a farmer.
That's right. That's right. So I'm interested to see where they're going to go with it. I've enjoyed all of them so far. So sometime, you know, my thoughts on Bendis. I did a big video about it. He's okay. He does things that I like, things that I don't like, and Young Justice is definitely one I like.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been reading this last week or two.
Well, I have some bad news for you.
What's that?
You know one of your favorite books?
What's that? Terrifics?
No. Silencer.
Silencer. Is it canceled now?
In June, I think, is when the last issue comes out.
That's crazy.
So after that, the Terrifics will be the last of the new age of heroes.
Hell.
And I really hope that they continue, because it's a fun book.
Yeah. Well, I think they could fix it, since I guess we're on news now.
Yeah.
I feel like they could easily put Sideways in the Titans, or the Teen Titans. And then, although he might fit the tone of Young Justice a lot better. That'd be interesting for a new character to be in there. But they've already got it crowded. I don't think Bendis would do that. I think he'd work well in a Teen Titan book though in the future.
Yeah.
Silencer, you could always throw her in Detective Comics or something. Or one of the other. She'd make a good Bird of Prey.
Yeah. No, that would be cool.
And that'd be pretty cool. And then you could throw Damage on a Justice League title.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Unlimited or Justice League International or something like that.
That's true.
So there's a lot of potential for some of these characters that are really good. And honestly, they just got to keep Terrifics because it's so good. If all the other characters went away, I would be sad. But I would be devastated if they got rid of the Terrifics because it is so good. It's so good. I don't think Plastic Man and Mr. Terrific or Metamorpho or Phantom Girl, any of them have been used in this way. I don't think they've ever been this good. Mass Panther says, so they cancel Silencer, but Unbeatable Squirrel Girl is still standing. That's
okay.
But hey, this is DC we're talking about. DC kind of knows what they're doing over there. You know, they cancel comics when they get too low readership. So, moral of the story: go buy more comic books. And
you know where you can buy more comic books? At the Wake Forest Mini Comic Con. Sponsored by Play for Life Comics, where you too can play for life.
Oh man, you're silly.
So,
you're silly.
Hey man, I'm getting it in where I can.
Jeff Lemire is leaving Terrifics. Is that the guy who wrote it?
Yes.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I think you have like two more issues with him, and then it's a different. And the guy who's drawing Hawkman will be leaving soon, too. Issue 12, I think. It's the last.
And...
But from what I saw, the art of the new guy looks good. So same writer, though, so Venditti. Have you heard any, like with Freedom Fighters, like how many issues that's supposed to be?
I have no idea.
Okay.
No idea. I'm not really well in tune with all the news and stuff around comics.
Don't say that out loud. I didn't know if there was anything on the book that told you it's like 12 issues or something.
I hear a lot about the movies and the TV shows coming out.
Right.
I don't hear I just not really good at finding where the news about the writers and stuff.
Remind me after we get off. I'll tell you where I go.
You told me that before.
That's true.
And I don't think I ever remembered.
Dude, I use Google, and it usually tells me based on my searches and stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff that I'm interested in.
Well, there's been a few things that I looked for on Google, and I couldn't find anything. I was like, we need I wish they'd have like a journal or something that they published that told you everything that was going on.
Interesting.
You know.
A comic book journal. I like that.
Anyways, all right. Any other news or books you've been reading before we move on to the main event?
No, I think that covers it. So, Let us know what you think of the new segment. News and notables. New comics, old comics, news.
Anything going on?
Yeah. So
Captain Marvel's doing really well.
Yeah, I hear they're on track to like 500 million already or something. That's just crazy. It's 2 weeks, so.
But I mean, it's a Marvel movie. They all do really well.
And folks are really into excited about the Endgame movie and any kind of clues they might get.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Next week, me and Lewis will do some kind of stream, either live or recorded next Wednesday. So keep an eye out for that.
Comics 1000.
So, anyways, remind me to talk to you about that before we.
Yeah, no, that's a good. I'm glad
afterwards. Anyways, all right. So we're just gonna be talking kind of.
We're gonna be chatting.
Characters that we want to see movies about, and then we just want to see if we can't cast them. And feel free to leave comments either in live chat or afterwards. We'd love to see your ideas of who you think would be perfect, because honestly I'm terrible with names, so unless I've seen the movie, and I probably won't know who it is if I hadn't seen a movie with them, or TV show with them in it. So
right.
My scope is limited to a lot of sci-fi stuff. So if you're outside of the sci-fi viewership, you watch other things, let me know if there's someone you're like, oh, that would be perfect for that person, because we'd love to figure out and find the best person for the job. So I don't really have like a list or anything.
It's all good. I'll just let you know the girl who plays Mystique, her name is Jennifer Lawrence.
Right. That makes sense.
You said I would know, and so I did.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen all the Hunger Games, and
I have not seen a single. I don't. Other than the X-Men stuff, I don't know that I've seen any movies with her in it.
Yeah, she's all right. She's not a bad actress. I do like the original actress better. The one who played the older Mystique. Much better.
John Stamos' wife.
All right, here we go. Mass Panther says Will Ferrell as Plastic Man.
Ooh, huh.
That'd be interesting. He'd probably do a great Plastic Man. I will say, and probably nobody agrees with me on this, I'm not the biggest Will Ferrell fan, but there's a few movies with him that I love, and the reason what I don't like, Elf. I don't like some of his movies where he's an adult acting like an idiot. But I do like the ones where it's more of a serious character, like Elf.
Stranger Than Fiction is a great movie.
Excellent. Okay, characters and who would you cast for possible upcoming Green Lantern Corps movie? Me and Lewis had talked a little bit about this. Let's see, for Jon Stewart.
Tuvok from Star Trek Voyager.
That was one of our picks. And the other guy I thought was the guy, Christopher Judge, who played Teal'c on Stargate.
Right.
SG-1. Perfect.
How big is he, though?
He's huge.
Yeah, so that'd be my only holdup there. Yeah. Just because he doesn't need to be as big as Kilowog.
Fair enough. He might make a good Kilowog, though.
I could be down with that. He's good at playing aliens, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's perfect. He'd be a great Kilowog. I don't know who played Kilowog in the last movie. I mean, he was pretty good, too.
Yeah, man. I didn't like the design, though. Yeah. The design of Kilowog in that movie was ugly.
It didn't bother me any.
I know, you're much more forgiving.
That's right. Except for Aquaman, as far as CGI goes. I don't complain about it in Green Lanterns, but I complain about it in Aquaman.
A superior movie.
I don't claim to be consistent. Hal Jordan, that's the hardest one for me, I think.
How about the guy who played on The Office? The main young guy. I can't remember his name. Jim?
The guy who played Jim?
Yeah, why not? John something, right?
Yeah, he might be a good... He probably had the look for it.
That's what I was thinking. Like, he'd be... I don't know. I don't know if... I haven't really seen him in a whole lot of other things, so I don't know, like, if he has the sort of commanding presence for Hal Jordan, but...
he did a couple war movies or something, I think. Or TV show. He played... I feel like he played a Amazon TV show or something like that.
Okay.
Where he was like a young... what's that character from Tom Clancy? That Harrison Ford was.
Yes. Why can't Ryan, right?
Yeah, Jack Ryan. I think he was a young Jack Ryan.
Okay, so great.
If I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Because I haven't actually watched it.
Yeah.
But
if that's the case, then I think all worries can be...
He was also in the Quiet Place. I don't know if you saw that.
Is that the movie with the...
They had to do everything without talking?
Okay, yeah. So it's the deaf version of the blind movie where they're...
Mass Panther says, how about Hugh Laurie, the guy who plays Dr. House, playing the voice of Detective Chimp? That would be perfect.
Okay, yes, because he's snarky and I love his sarcasm, so I think that would be an excellent casting there.
That would be perfect.
And plus he gets the... his voice has like a quality about it.
A quality?
No, I just mean like it's not just the standard American voice.
You're funny.
No, he's a monkey though, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
He's a credit to his species.
Yeah. He'd be perfect for Detective Chimp. We'll put it that way.
All I know is like the bar on some of these movies is so low that DC could greenlight them and have them done in 6 months, and they'd be awesome.
All right. Let's see. So Guy Gardner. We had said somebody.
It's so hard.
I forgot who we had said.
I don't know that we ever said.
I felt like we picked somebody. Because you need somebody who can pull off the personality that he has.
Right.
There's a guy, I'm trying to remember his name. He's played a whole bunch of smaller roles, and he's probably played some bigger roles in movies and stuff. Did you ever watch The Unit?
Can't say that I did.
No.
Sorry.
That's alright. I might have to look it up. There's a guy I feel like would probably be pretty good.
Hey, there's a dude, I want to say his name is Michael Rapaport. You're watching Friends, right? And so there was a guy from New York. He had like a very distinct accent, sort of curly-ish hair. He dated Phoebe on there. I feel like he could do it because he's kind of jerk-like enough in other shows that he's been in that he could pull off Guy Gardner, I think.
All right, Mass Panther says the guy who plays Abraham on The Walking Dead is Guy Gardner. Is that the redheaded Irish guy? I've only seen that show a couple of times. I'm not a huge zombie person.
Yeah, I'm not into.
So actually, the guy that I'm thinking of is actually might be a little too old to play. He's the guy who was the new Terminator in Terminator 2.
Oh,
his name is
Ray Liotta?
Robert Patrick.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
He kind of fits the personality, or at least he's done characters that have similar personalities as Guy Gardner. Right. But he's a little too old, I think. The guy in American Sniper, Chris Kyle as Hal Jordan. He did a great job. Hal Jordan's a tough one too. But that guy was really good in American Sniper. I really enjoyed that movie. I'd want to see him do something else before I said put him as Hal Jordan. That would be my only thing. But he was great in that movie. Mass Panther said yes to the other guy.
All right, so that's Michael Rapaport right there. Whoops, and there goes Blue.
I don't know who that is. What has he played on?
Friends.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen him in a couple episodes.
Yeah, he dated Phoebe at one point.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was just saying he's jerk-like enough that I think he could pull off Guy Gardner. Come on, Blue Beetle, what's going on? You're acting like Booster usually does.
I do feel like I'm not sure that anybody is just generally a jerk, as far as I can tell, and so because I honestly don't keep up with a lot of it, so I'd have to.
I'm talking about his characters.
I'd have to see I feel like that's one that somebody could really surprise us.
Yeah.
In that role.
Right.
So. Okay, we have Kyle Rayner.
It's kind of a tough one.
Yeah. Didn't you say what's his name? The guy Ryan
Reynolds
would be a better
Kyle Rayner than Hal Jordan. Yeah. Yes.
Although he probably wouldn't give it another shot.
No, not at this point. No.
He's making a great Deadpool, though. That's for sure. Kyle Rayner. That's a tough one. Any ideas?
Channing Tatum? Or is that how they got the guy from G.I. Joe?
I don't know a lot of them. Hey, a good Hal Jordan might be the guy who played Captain Kirk in Star Trek, the new one.
Yes, I agree. I think he actually did the voice of Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, on one of the movies, but I could be wrong.
Did he?
But he's Steve Trevor, so
that's fair. That's fair.
That would kind of mess him up.
Hey, but we're excluding that. We're just saying this is a great pick. He did a great job as Steve Trevor, but he's dead. There could be a joke like, you remind me of somebody. I don't know if they'd ever play that.
You look like my ex-boyfriend.
Robert Pattinson, the guy from Twilight, as Kyle. Okay. Is that the guy? Is that the guy who was in Harry Potter? Played what's his name in the Goblet of Fire?
Hey, I can see the wolf.
Sorry, go ahead.
I can see the wolf guy as Kyle because they have a similar haircut.
It's the guy who played in Harry Potter that was also in Twilight. I don't know anything about Twilight. He'd be a good pick for Kyle Rayner. So, and then the other one we got is Alan Scott. We could do an older
dude
guy
with blondish white hair.
What about The Rock as Kilowog? He'd probably make a good Kilowog too.
The only problem is he wouldn't do that. He'd want his face right there, and Kilowog and The Rock.
Which is why he makes a great Black Adam.
I'm hoping he'll make a great Black Adam.
Well, I'm just talking about all the stars should be aligned. He should make a good one, assuming he does it, and they actually write it well. Should make a great Black Adam. Because, I mean, honestly, we don't know if any of these people would actually do well at the thing. It's just, we think they would. Alan Scott, though.
I don't know.
Tough one.
Because you want him to be older, but still maintain the physicality of the character. How about Harrison Ford?
There you go. That'd be awesome. I'd love to see Harrison Ford do some more stuff. And half of what he would have to do is CGI anyway, so it's like perfect. I don't know if this would work. I'm just biased toward him. I'd love to see Mark Hamill do something like that.
Yeah?
He'd be really do great in just about anything he did, but
that's true.
He'd be a fun.
I think he should just do a movie where he does all the characters and just really show us how awesome he truly is.
They said the model Fabio as Alan Scott. I don't even know who that is.
No, that guy can't act. I've seen him on sitcoms or whatever, and he seems really kind of thick-headed, and he's certainly got the right color hair and a decent build, but he just seems really dumb. And Alan Scott is not that.
Yeah. What about Carol Ferris? Is that right?
Yes.
I feel like she's got a lot in common with. I don't know. Maybe this is me. She kind of reminds me a lot of Lois Lane.
Yes,
just different.
That's not bad. How about the girl from the Adjustment Bureau with Matt Damon? Have you seen that movie?
I don't think so.
Okay. I want to say she's the same girl who was in. Nope. All right, that's hard. So let's go with Anne Hathaway. Or with like Catwoman and
but she would be a good Carol Ferris.
Do what?
She'd be a good one.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So,
all right. Brian Dunham said casting for James Gunn's Suicide Squad 2 characters: Polka Dot Man, Ratcatcher, Peacemaker, King Shark. I don't really know half of those characters. It'd be a lot harder.
You know King Shark from Flash.
Well, I said I don't know half of those characters.
Yeah.
So I've heard of King Shark.
You've just heard of who's going to die in the next movie.
Pretty much. Vance Panther says Sandra Bullock is Carol Ferris.
yes, if we cast an older Hal Jordan. I had suggested the guy from The Office, the young guy from The Office.
Yeah.
So in that case, I would want, obviously, someone closer to his age, like Anne Hathaway.
Yeah.
But I think Sandra Bullock, if we're doing an older Green Lantern, which I don't remember who we just said might do a good older Green Lantern.
Yeah.
I mean, Hal Jordan. So.
You know what? While we're on The Office, Rashida Jones, who played the girl from Jim's girlfriend from Philadelphia. She also played in Parks and Rec as Anne.
Okay. Was she in the Ghostbusters movie?
I have no idea. I did not have any interest in that.
Okay.
She's done a lot of comedies though.
Yeah.
But she'd probably. I mean, she did some serious stuff in. There's plenty of serious scenes in The Office and Parks and Rec, so she'd probably be able to do it just fine.
What is she doing?
Mass Panther said just CGI her and make her young. Sandra Bullock, that is. But she'd probably make a good Lois Lane or Carol Ferris. Let's see who else we got. Well, we need to do Booster and Ted.
Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
That would be perfect. And you'd put Ben Affleck as Ted Cord.
Yes, I would. And Matt Damon as Booster Gold.
That would be so good. I was watching some of the pranks that they pulled on the the Tonight Show or something. Where,
Jimmy Kimmel show, yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel, where they're trying to sneak him onto the stage. That's so good.
So yeah, that one hit me today when I was thinking about it. And I'm just like, if this was like 10 years ago, it would have been absolutely perfect.
Yeah. Brian Dunham said Zach Enron as Hal or Kyle. I don't really know enough about him to.
Isn't that the High School Musical guy?
Maybe.
I could see him doing Kyle. He'd have to dye his hair though. He might not make a bad.
Efron.
I thought about him for some character, but I don't remember what now.
All right.
Anyway.
Now, to be fair, we generally are focusing on DC because DC's our favorite. So, if you have any
Marvel folks.
I was going to say, if anyone has suggestions for Marvel characters, we can do that too. I was just explaining why we were focusing so heavily on DC.
Moon Knight. I want to see the Transporter, Jason Statham, as Moon Knight.
Huh.
Have you seen those movies, The Transporter? The first two are excellent.
Yeah.
The third one is more about car chases and junk than like the physicality. Yeah. But yeah, the first one, if nothing else, when we get off, if you want to see what I'm talking about, go look up the big battle at the end. He's fighting these dudes in like a bus depot or something, and he spills some oil and he kicks off these little pedals for a bicycle, and then he's fighting these dudes in this oil and he's slipping around and stuff. It's really good. It very much reminds me of like a Jackie Chan fight scene.
Max Panther said Jason as Moon Knight would be awesome. I assume that's who you're talking about?
Yeah, Jason Statham, yeah.
Who would we do for the Fantastic Four?
Oh, why do you do this to me?
Because I have to.
Okay.
Honestly, I think the guy who played Mr. Fantastic in the other movies was really good.
No, I loved him. I thought he was great. Ian Gruffeld, I think, was his name.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Evans was much better as Captain America than he was in Johnny Storm.
Yeah. I didn't think he did a bad Johnny Storm.
He's better as Cap.
Right.
Yeah, I enjoyed those movies. I know you didn't. The first one was good. The second one was all right.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the second one. It wasn't great, though. The guy who did Silver Surfer did a good job, too.
Yeah, no, he was good. That was,
I don't know that I really cared for Doom though.
No, no.
In any of that.
Morpheus, the guy who did Morpheus, Lawrence Fishburne, he did the voice of Silver Surfer, and the actor was the same guy who did the fish guy in Hellboy 2.
Okay.
Don't remember his name. Abe Sapien, I think's his name. Anyway,
he's saying Tom Cruise is Mr. Fantastic. I don't know about that.
He's too short.
I don't know about that one. I'm not sure that he'd make a great Mr. Fantastic.
No.
Yeah. And the reason I say that is because Mr. Fantastic's basically a big nerd. And I don't feel like Tom Cruise really brings that nerdy quality naturally. I mean, he probably could because he's such a great actor anyways. But, he can probably play just about anything. But
yeah.
That's just my first thoughts.
Yeah. See, so part of the problem is age gap wise, there's somewhere between 5 and 10 years age difference between Johnny and the rest of the crew, with Ben being, I think, like the oldest.
Yeah.
And I would make the argument because he was in the military prior to coming to school and meeting Reed, he'd be the oldest.
Yeah. I think if he put his mind to it, Richard Dean Anderson might make a good older Mr. Fantastic.
I can see that. Has he ever been a bad guy?
Not that I know of.
Yeah. Oh, who was the other guy?
We've got Channing Tatum as Nightwing. I don't know.
No, I want. What's the guy who played in Dark Knight Rises? Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, I was thinking about him too. He's good.
No, I want him for Nightwing. Because he's both likable and he can be super funny. If you ever watched him on Third Rock from the Sun, you know this. He was also in that 10 Things I Hate About You or something.
But who were you saying? Yeah, because one thing with Nightwing is he's got to be like a ladies' man.
Right.
Like convincingly.
Right.
So,
Well, I mean, the ladies like that Channing Tatum guy, but I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt is well received by the ladies.
Well, I wasn't saying that Channing Tatum wasn't. I was just saying that's a part of the character that I don't usually think about.
Yeah.
Picture Peter Dinklage as the Penguin. I don't know who that is. I'm terrible.
Peter Dinklage. He's the.
You got to connect it with a movie, or I'll never know.
Okay.
Lewis will, but I won't.
Senator Kelly from Days of Future Past. He's a small person.
Oh, okay. Okay, 'cause I was thinking Senator Kelly from the original movie. So
I know.
From the new
I'm
one.
sorry.
Okay.
Again, he played. I think his name is Etri, the guy who made Thor's new hammer in Infinity War,
and
they made him a giant.
Game of Thrones too.
Yes, I think so. I was going to look something up, but now I've forgotten.
Anyways, what were you saying about Fantastic Four?
Yeah, I was trying to think of somebody who could play Ben.
I was going to say another person that might be a good old Reed Richards was the guy from what's that guy's name? We mentioned him earlier. From Dr. House.
Oh, Hugh Laurie, yeah.
He'd probably be a good an older Reed Richards.
Okay,
like if you took it, like him and Sue have already been married and they've been running around for a while.
I'm good with that. Who would your Sue be?
That's a great question. That'd be
Because he's got to be in his 50s, right?
Right.
So she'd probably need to be in her 40s just to
At least
have her,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. She's a lot harder for me. Max Panther says Julia Roberts is an old singer.
Hey, that's actually who I was just thinking of. That's funny. Because I could see her dyeing her hair blonde for that.
Yeah.
All right, so who's a 30-something actor that you could see as Human Torch?
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, Human Torch is...
His is probably the hardest one to really peg.
I agree. Because you don't want him to be so young that he looks so much different than the others.
Right.
But at the same time,
you want him young enough that it's obvious
it's convincing that he's kind of not fully mature.
Right.
Man.
Hey, you know who could make a good Invisible Woman? The girl who plays Caitlin Frost in Flash.
Oh, okay. A young...
Yeah, a younger one.
Yeah.
I don't know who the Mr. Fantastic would be, but...
Robert De Niro as Old Ben Grimm.
Yeah, I mean, if he's just doing like the voice, I'd hate for the motion capture stuff.
Probably be good, yeah.
Yeah.
A young Reed Richards.
Yeah, we're trying to figure that out. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I mean, what do y'all think? Young Reed Richards.
How bad was the guy in the new one?
In the new one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
Okay. I've refused to watch it as well.
I plan on watching it eventually. Once it's like $2 at Walmart.
I'm surprised they haven't given it away yet.
I know, right? Well, as far as I can tell, it's not even at Walmart because they're like, yeah, this isn't going to sell at all. Well, we'll think on that and keep going. Is there anyone you would like for Ben Grimm? A young Ben Grimm?
It would be hard for me to think of one.
What about jumping back over to DC? What about Batgirl?
Ooh, how about Daniel Radcliffe as young Reed Richards?
Huh, that's not bad. That's not bad.
I mean, would we really care that he has an accent?
No. And, he probably could learn some American.
I was just scrolling through a list of young actors, and his picture was up there, and he's got a beard in it, and it looks strikingly like, the comics right now. And
he'd probably make a good one.
And he obviously can play a nerd, right?
Right.
So.
Right.
I mean, I like the guy who played Ben in the other movie. I just would want them to do motion capture, kind of like with Ruffalo with the Hulk.
Yeah.
So that they get the design of the character right and not just sort of phone it in. I mean, I wasn't completely displeased with the first, version or whatever, but
Justin Bieber is Johnny Storm. Please no. That guy can't act.
Well,
I mean, he's got the personality of Johnny Storm.
Right. So that might be helpful.
His acting. Simon Pegg as Guy Gardner.
Okay. I could maybe see that.
I don't know who that is.
Hey, only if we get his buddy to play Kilowog. The heavyset guy.
I don't
that
know who
hangs
you're
out with
talking
him.
about.
So Simon Pegg is from Star Trek. He plays Scotty.
Okay.
What about Karl Urban, the guy who plays Bones McCoy, the Doctor in Star Trek? Who do you think he could be?
You know, he'd probably make a good Mr. Fantastic.
Maybe.
I mean, he's got the nerdiness.
Yeah, but he looks a little too confident, like physically confident. So
fair enough. Let me think about that. I was going to say the guy who played Neville in Harry Potter would be perfect Hal Jordan. Perfect Hal Jordan.
Sorry,
I don't know the guy's name, but you should look it up real quick. Let me know what you think.
All right.
He'd be a perfect Hal Jordan, I think. If you didn't want him to, he could probably do Kyle, I think, as well. Steve Carell as Mr. Fantastic is what Mass Panther said. He wanted a funny, huh?
He plays Michael from The Office.
Right.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
I know who Steve Carell is. He's probably one of my favorite comedians. You know, he'd probably be a good Ralph Dibny. He's a little short, but you could always make that in, you know, CGI.
So who did you say this guy? Neville?
Neville.
For what?
For Hal Jordan.
I could see that.
Probably be a good Kyle Rayner, too. He was kind of the nerd, even more so than Harry Potter.
Yeah, but he's an adult now and
right.
Not much of a nerd.
Yeah.
I can see that.
He might make a nice Tim, like an older Tim Drake too.
Yeah, yeah. If we're doing a older Batman, I demand Michael Keaton.
Yeah. See if he'll reprise it. Who would be a good Batman Beyond?
Yeah, I thought about that today
Terry
too.
McGinnis.
So we need someone who's like late teens or whatever, early 20s.
You know, the guy who plays Spider-Man right now?
Yeah, Tom Holland.
He might make a great...
Hey, what about the guy who played Spider-Man?
Huh?
What about the guy who played Spider-Man?
Andrew Garfield?
Yeah.
He'd probably make a good one, too. I feel like he might be a little too confident for Terry McGinnis, though. That was one of the problems he had with Peter Parker. He was too too confident.
Right, but Terry McGinnis isn't like one of the things about that show was he was like overconfident, especially with regard to the suit, and Bruce was always trying to tell him it's really not the suit that makes the hero.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So,
Mass Panther says a young Leonardo DiCaprio as Terry.
Okay, I'd be down with that. I'd go back and take a young Leonardo DiCaprio as Johnny Storm too.
Yeah.
Because I watched him on Growing Pains, and
how old is he now?
Huh?
How old is he now?
Let's see. He was a teenager in the late 80s, early 90s, so maybe 10 years older than me, so late 40s, early 50s.
Huh.
I would guess. Now you're going to make me look it up. He might not even be that old.
Yeah.
And I just, hurt his feelings. Not that he's watching the show, but...
Yeah.
Leonardo.
Leonardo, if you're watching this in the future, sorry. And really, all the actors and actresses...
44. He's 44.
Yeah, he'd make a good Johnny Storm now, if we did the older version.
No, I think he has too much gravitas as
I think he's such a good actor. I think he could blend it down.
I think he could totally play the character.
Johnny Depp is Mr. Fantastic.
No.
Who'd he be good as? He might be a good abracadabra.
I can see him as a good Doctor Strange. Like if they go in straight trippy, Steve Ditko.
We've already got the perfect Doctor Strange, though.
I know. I'm just saying. I wonder if Johnny Depp could be a good Doctor Doom.
I don't know.
If they played up like the gypsy aspect.
Yeah, I don't know that I would enjoy that. I have a hard time with Johnny Depp these days.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
I'm just not sure there's been anything since the first few Pirates movies that I enjoyed.
Have you ever seen The Secret Window? That's a great movie. He's a writer, and there's some dude who's trying to kill him because the guy believes he stole his story.
I have seen The Secret Garden, though.
That's the kid's story, right?
Steve Carell as another Ant-Man.
Hank Pym? Sure.
Yeah.
I think he'd do a better job than Michael Douglas.
Yeah, Hank Pym's kind of been boring. You really need Steve Carell in a funny character, though.
Yeah.
He'd be a good older Booster, like Booster from the future.
No, I'd see him as an older Blue Beetle.
Older Blue Beetle?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, except Blue Beetle doesn't live to be old. He gets shot in the head by Max.
Yeah, so that wouldn't work, would it?
No, it wouldn't.
Who would be a good Dr. Doom? Because I don't think we've really had a great one. Yeah.
Hugh Laurie.
Who's that one?
House.
Okay. What about the guy who plays Elrond in V for Vendetta? What's his name?
John Hurt.
That's not who I'm talking about. But John Hurt, didn't he die?
He did.
So it doesn't do us any good.
No, it doesn't.
The guy who played on The Matrix, you know who I'm talking about, right?
I don't know.
You've seen
John Hurt is the person I remember from V from Vendetta. So
you've seen The Matrix, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The guy who plays he's the bad guy.
Oh,
Mr.
Smith. I mean,
yes, yeah, Mr. Smith. He was V for Vendetta.
Oh, but what did you call him, though? Oh, you called him his name from Lord of the Rings.
Right,
See,
Elrond. Elrond. That's
right, but then you said from V from Vendetta, and
anyways, he'd be a great Dr. Doom. Wasn't he also
Red Skull?
Red Skull.
Yes. And I agree.
He was a great Red Skull.
I don't know what his name is. Right?
I'm terrible with names. You're the one that's supposed to know the names.
I know. I'm working on it.
He'd be a great Dr. Doom. He's got the gravitas that a lot of people don't have. Max Panther says Clint Eastwood as Dr. Doom.
No. He has to be, or he at least has to have something of a foreign accent. And Clint Eastwood doesn't do that.
Oh, man. Let's see. Who else we got? Jason Todd. That's a tough one.
Hugo Weaving is the name of V from Vendetta.
Everything I've seen him in has been great. He's a great actor. Did we say Barbara Gordon yet?
No.
Any thoughts on that?
On the younger side, I'd say someone like Emily Blunt. Trying trying to remember what movie she's been in that you would know. So give me a second, and I'll look her up. All right. That's her face right there.
Okay, I don't recognize her. I'd probably recognize her from a movie. Brad Pitt as Hal Jordan.
Nah, I could see that.
It'd be a good one.
Oh, so this is the girl from the Adjustment Bureau.
Oh, okay.
She was also in a movie called The Girl on the Train.
Oh, I haven't seen that. You said
she was in A Quiet Place with John Krasinski.
Okay, that's what I was thinking she was from.
Oh, and Mary Poppins.
I haven't seen any of those movies, but I did want to see A Quiet Place.
She's the new Mary Poppins.
I'm just not a huge horror film
fan,
right. But I heard that one was really good. She'd probably be good. Let's see. Any other characters that we haven't cast? There's probably.
Yeah, who was the guy from Hidalgo?
Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah.
Played Aragorn.
Okay. Yes. So that guy. Who do we want that guy to play?
What would he do?
Because I was pretty sure that was the same guy, but I didn't want to screw it up if it wasn't.
He hasn't really been in a lot since those movies.
I know they're looking to do a Eternals movie. I think he could be Icarus in that. And don't mix the myth with the character. He's basically Thor of the Eternals group. Yeah.
What's the cowboy from the past in DC?
Jonah Hex.
He'd probably make a good Jonah Hex.
Yeah. Excuse me. We talked about this briefly with our gun-toting characters, but Josh Brolin played Jonah Hex in a movie, and he's the guy who was in True Grit, replacing John Wayne, and obviously we know him as Thanos from Infinity War, and Cable from Deadpool 2. The folks making that movie must have been terrible for that movie to have flopped as hard as it did.
What movie?
Jonah Hex.
Oh, yeah.
If you have a great actor like Josh Brolin playing your main character, and yet the movie you turn out stinks. I mean, because there's nothing inherently like complicated about the role of Jonah Hex, right? He's not like got to pretend like he's shooting flames out of his hand or anything.
Yeah. But one of my friends went and saw it and loved it at the time. I had never heard of Jonah Hex. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't have any interest. If I had known it was a superhero in DC at the time, I would have probably gone and see it. But
yeah, your friend probably went because he saw Megan Fox was in the movie. She's a good reason to not watch movies.
But
so I'll bring up this. You mentioned female characters, and we talked about this briefly. She-Hulk. Who would you cast as She-Hulk? Now, I have to correct you on a couple things. She's a lawyer. I know you weren't sure, but she's a lawyer. She actually is in her right state of mind, generally. Now, it could have changed recently, but in all the comics that I have her in, she's more outgoing as She-Hulk, but she's still in her right mind, and not really like spazzing out like the Hulk does when he hulks out.
Yeah.
And I'll just tell you this too. What Deadpool does with breaking the fourth wall and talking to the audience, She-Hulk was doing that before that.
Really?
Yes. That was one of the things John Byrne in his run on the character made prevalent.
I think there'd be the one that came to mind for me. What's the The girl who was in the new A-Team movie.
Oh.
She was also in that old...
Jessica Biel.
Yes.
Okay.
She'd be a good She-Hulk.
We'd have to do motion capture, though, right? Because
of course.
I think she's kind of small. Short. She was one of the shorter characters.
I mean, they probably do it similar to how they did the Hulk.
Yeah.
With Ruffalo.
Yeah, I can see that.
I feel like she'd be a great She-Hulk.
Yeah, and she's been in other movies where she's sort of been funny.
She was in Blade, I think.
Yeah, the third one, I think.
She was in an Adam Sandler movie, too. I don't know what, but...
Was she?
Yeah, I think so. She's done a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So she's got...
She'd be a good...
That's good. Yeah, there you go. She's got the range for the character, and... so, yeah. Excellent. I could totally see a movie about She-Hulk being like a courtroom drama kind of thing.
Yeah.
It turns into this knockdown, drag out blockbuster movie, and I just think that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
She-Hulk has a supervillain, Titania, who is her equal in strength and stuff. So I could totally see her being the main villain.
Yeah. Somebody else that would probably do well if you did a little bit older, not like super old, but older than in the recent Superman for Lois Lane is was it Liv Tyler, the girl who played in
Incredible Hulk as Betty.
Yeah, that's right. She'd be a good Lois Lane, I think.
She might be a better Lois Lane than the one we got.
Yes.
And now I'll tell you who I like as Lois Lane, the girl from Smallville who played Lois.
Yeah.
I forget her name, Erica something. I thought she did a great job. She was spunky, but yeah,
the girl we have now, she's a great actress. I just don't think she's a great.
She's not Lois Lane, right?
She did a great job in Arrival. I know Corey flipped out about that movie. He loved that. If y'all are watching, Corey's a friend of ours.
Yeah.
But he loved Arrival, and she did really great in that.
No, she's an excellent actress. There's a movie Ryan Reynolds did, and I want to say she was in it. It's sort of telling that. So Ryan Reynolds plays the father of this little girl, and he's telling his daughter about her mother, but the girl's never met her mother because I think her mother died or something, and so he tells the girl about the 3 different girls that could be her mother, and it was a pretty good story.
Yeah. Hey, the guy who plays Hawkeye, if he beefed up a little bit, do you think he'd be a good Guy Gardner?
Yes, and the fact that he's wearing a couple different hairdos in the Endgame stuff shows that he's not afraid to wear a stupid haircut like Guy Gardner.
So, yeah, I think he'd be good, and he could shine a lot more than he does with Hawkeye.
Yeah. He can inject more personality.
I enjoyed him in the Bourne series.
Oh, really?
I know a lot of people didn't care for that movie, but I really enjoyed it.
Well, I mean, the bar was set very high by Matt Damon.
Yeah. Well, I think people didn't like it because of Matt Damon personally refusing to have anything to do with it. So, but it was pretty good. It was pretty good. But
hey, so you know more British actors than I do. Who would you cast as Black Knight and Captain Britain?
It's hard. I don't know the characters too well.
Okay, with Captain Britain, just think like Superman.
Very similar to Superman.
But an alcoholic.
But an alcoholic.
Well, so in early stories, he
what does he look like?
In his costume, he's got blonde hair.
Is there another superhero that he looks similar to?
Captain America.
He
But
looks
he's
similar
British?
to. Okay.
Yeah, hold on. I'll pull up a.
You know, if Martin Freeman might not be terrible. He played in The Hobbit. Played in a whole bunch of other stuff. He was Bilbo. Did you watch that movie?
Yes, I did, but I worry with him being a hobbit, he might not be tall enough.
He's normal height, man. He also plays Watson.
Oh, on
Sherlock.
Okay, I could see that.
I mean, he's dwarfed compared to Benedict Cumberbatch, but he's
who isn't, right?
exactly.
All right. Here's a more recent costume with
now
Captain Britain.
He'd have to beef up a bit.
Yeah.
But you know, he's kind of
he wears a suit, right? So they could easily add it if they need to.
He did. He was in The Office as well, the British version. And so he
with Ricky Gervais or something.
He was basically the Jim character.
Oh, okay, nice.
Down to earth guy. So I think he could probably play it pretty well. Let's see. What was the other guy? Captain Britain?
Black Knight. So.
Black Knight. Oh, we were doing Captain Britain?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to find you an unmasked version of Black Knight.
Let me see. I'm looking at your picture that you gave me.
Yeah. All right, and that's Dane Whitman, Black Knight, without a mask and stuff on.
Okay.
Now he doesn't have to be British.
Fair enough.
But Captain Britain does.
Captain Britain's the one we said, Steve Martin.
Yeah.
I think that's his name. I'm terrible with names.
That sounds right, Martin Freeman.
I said Steve Martin. Martin Freeman.
It's not Steve Martin. He's a jerk. Or I should say the jerk.
Oh, man.
He's a wild and crazy guy.
Let's see.
Also, he's the father of the bride. He gets mixed up in planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah.
With John Candy.
We should do a sequel to this where we pick people that are old actors that can't do anything anymore. Like what I'm saying is like people who are too old to do current heroes.
Oh, so like if they had done these movies 20 years ago.
Or 40 or 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Or when they were still alive.
Okay, so Jimmy Stewart from It's a Wonderful Life as Mr. Fantastic. Are you familiar with It's a Wonderful Life?
I've seen it a few times.
Okay. Is that what you want, Mary? You want the moon? Oh, a lasso around it. Pull it down.
There you go. Get some Dick Van Dyke.
That's a pretty good idea, Mary. I'll give you the moon. Dick Van Dyke would be good, too.
You get Andy Griffith and Don Knotts doing a Beetle and a Booster. That'd be great.
Oh, that's
all right,
too
we'll save
good.
it for the next one.
That's too good. I think Andy Griffith legitimately played football.
We haven't
cast Booster, so that's good.
We haven't cast James Roday and Dule Hill as anything. They'd be a good Booster and Ted Kord duo too.
And I actually wouldn't care a lick about the
race swipe. Race
swap.
switch. Swap.
Yeah.
I can't speak tonight.
It's okay. Yeah, no, they would be flat out amazing.
And James Roday would be Booster, and Dooley would be Ted. Is that right?
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Unless they really want to flip it, because that would be pretty awesome too.
That'd be funny too. I just feel like James Roday is perfect for the Booster character.
Oh, I know, but that's because of Psych, right?
Right.
But I think he could hit the look of Ted Kord better than Dooley, or better than he would look as Booster. Yeah. And so I just wonder how, Burton Guster, I mean... I wonder how Dooley Hill would do playing a character as wild as Booster.
I'm sure he did fine. Gus was pretty wild in that too, even though he was trying not to be.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying, like, I think that would be a lot of fun.
The guy who played Lassie is Mr. Fantastic.
Hey, that would be great.
There we go. And the girl who played Juliet could easily be Sue Storm.
No, I don't.
You don't think so?
Be kissing Lassie? No.
Hey,
we can get the girl. Hey, we can get the girl from the pilot episode. Juliet replaced her.
Okay. Another one that I thought of is the girl that was she plays on Mom, that TV show.
I don't know what that is.
She was Chris Pratt's wife.
Oh, okay.
Blonde girl.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know her name.
I don't remember her name either. But she played on the series Mom.
Okay.
And so she's been around for a little while. She does a pretty good job of that. She'd probably be a good Sue Storm.
But not for Lassie.
Well, I'm just saying in general.
Yeah, right.
I don't have the image of Jules kissing Lassie. I'm just saying she'd be good for the part.
Right. No, I think so too. Yeah. I like that girl. She was on. I think she did Nancy Drew years before she was Juliet on.
Did she?
Pretty sure. It wasn't like any sort of major TV show or anything, but I just feel like I remember her playing the character Nancy Drew at some point.
She was on a TV show a couple years after Psych.
Really?
I didn't enjoy it at all. It kind of flopped, if I'm not mistaken. But not her fault, I don't think. Just not a great premise. I don't remember much about it.
Yeah.
Man, now I'm on that. The father would probably be a good
thing.
He probably could do that thing. An older thing. You might make it good Alan Scott.
I can see that. That'd be good.
He definitely looked different, but he's got the snark, but also the like war torn kind of personality.
Yeah.
It's like I've been there.
I can see that, yeah.
There's got to be some more that we haven't talked. Who'd be a good Hawk girl? The girl who played Batgirl in the third Batman movie, Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, Anne Hathaway.
She'd probably be a good Hawk girl.
Yeah, I don't know. for me, I always I've got the girl from the show, like her voice in my head, and I feel like she may have been Hispanic, so I just picture as her being something of an ethnicity.
Yeah. Hispanic. I didn't think the girl on the show was angry enough to be Hawk Girl. She didn't really convince me. She was alright. The guy who played Hawkman, same thing.
I'm talking about the cartoon show, dude.
Oh, well. The cartoon was great. I'm talking about the full, Legends of Tomorrow and The Flash.
Yeah. I hadn't watched that, sorry.
You're fine.
How about the girl from Hitch? She was with Will Smith's character. I don't know what her name is.
She'd make a good Hawk Girl. What about Hawkman?
That's a great question. Hey, how about the Bones from Star Trek?
Yes.
Because he's got the dark hair and he looks big enough. I think he could pull that off.
Didn't the guy from Stargate who played Daniel? Didn't he do Hawkman in Smallville?
Yeah, I quit watching Smallville before it got to that point, and I thought that dude was too small. So
yeah.
I'm not really that familiar with.
He beefed up later in the Stargate.
Well, that's
series.
Good.
Not a whole lot, but more. I mean, at the beginning of the show, he was supposed to be kind of a slinky nerd.
Yeah.
So, but eventually they kind of beefed up the character because he was constantly using guns and as an action hero. Well, the guy who played oh man, the guy who took over for Richard Dean Anderson in Stargate, and then he was also in Farscape.
Yeah.
You don't know him. I don't remember
been a long time.
He'd be a good. He'd probably be a good Hal Jordan too.
Yeah.
He'd make a good.
I know who you're talking about.
He might be better at. He might be a better Kyle. He might be a better Kyle. Than Hal, but he'd probably be able to do either. So. But
sorry, I'm looking up Stargate.
What do you think about Martian Manhunter?
Like of the people who've played him, I like the guy on Smallville.
Yeah, I like the guy on Supergirl.
Yeah, he looks good too as far as the look of the character.
I don't know that they've gotten the personality right on that show.
Well, I don't think they've done a very good job with. Like, I like the cartoon version.
Yeah, he's great on that. But he's a pretty good Martian Manhunter. He feels like Martian Manhunter, even though his personality is a bit different than he is in the comics. But I feel like the actor could still do it if they made it more accurate.
Yeah.
Because he'd probably make a pretty good, what's it called? Probably make a pretty good detective.
Yeah. They really ought to play that up. But anyway, seems like they aren't interested in that.
It'd be funny if they like a young Mel Gibson as Guy Gardner.
He would be getting punched in the mouth over.
That'd be so funny. But he'd be perfect for it.
Yeah.
All right, well, it's getting late, guys. We're both pretty tired.
Yeah.
And running out of ideas. Let us know if there's anyone we missed that you think, because we can always carry on this conversation more. We love talking about who could be good in roles, and let us know if there's somebody that we missed that's like, oh, this is perfect for this role, or if there's a role you really feel like we should have talked about. Let us know. We want to hear what you think. If there's somebody that you thought would be a better position in one of the roles that we mentioned, let us know, because we want to pick the right person for the right part.
That's right. We don't want to pay people to do a terrible job.
That's right. So leave us a comment. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. We'd love for you to join the family. Me and Lewis do this live stream at least once a week. Generally
on Monday.
That's right, Monday nights. So let us know. Thanks for watching, guys. I know it's been a little different with the new kind of schedule we're trying to do with the news and whatever you said, Lewis.
News and notables.
News and notables. There you go. And so thanks for bearing with us for that, and of course the technology problems at the beginning. We appreciate you watching. So got anything to say, Lewis?
No. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, hit the notification button to let you know when new videos are going live, and join the family.
Sweet.
So.
Well then, we will catch you next time.
Peace.